Okay, y'all. So once again, Trump is out here shocking the shit out of people with the stuff that he is doing. So if you have not heard lately, he is out here making comments like this.
On day one, I immediately halted the hiring of any new IRS agents. You know, they hired or tried to hire 88,000 new workers to go after you, and we're in the process of developing a plan to either terminate all of them or maybe we'll move them to the border. I think we're going to move them to the border. Well, they're allowed to carry guns. You know, they're so strong on guns, but these people are allowed to carry guns, so we'll probably move them to the border.
Now, even though he was joking about sending them to the border, and maybe he wasn't joking because Trump be laughing, but he don't be playing. Kind of like me, I be laughing, but I don't be playing. I be serious as hell about what I'm saying. But he definitely has an issue with the IRS and what it is that they're doing. I find it really interesting that for everybody that was upset with Trump, a lot of you guys were talking about how this man got all this money and he doesn't even pay his taxes. Well, he used loopholes and things that are out there. So all the money he made, he didn't have to give it all back in taxes, right? And so you can't never be mad at that. But it seems like to me that as a business owner, he is one that understands giving away taxes and feeling like we shouldn't have to give away taxes to that extent. The Biden administration that we had and y'all beloved Kamala, that y'all was all like, yeah, she the one. Well, anyway, they got all of these IRS agents that they hired, the ones that Trump is talking about sending to the border. And they got them to do audits on everybody. But the people they were auditing was everybody who makes under $400,000 a year.
One of the issues here is that President Trump found out that a majority of the audits that were done, a Treasury Inspector General report found that more than 90% of the agency audits between 2019 and 2023 were taxpayers making less than $400,000 a year, Chris. I mean, the president already said he'd like to create an external revenue service to collect profits and tariff from foreign countries. His Treasury Secretary nominee, Scott Bessent, could be confirmed by the Senate as early as today. This is important. This will give the markets clarity, Chris.
Now, $400,000 a year, some of y'all gonna say, that's a lot of money, Michi. Well, it's $400,000 and under, right? So that comes for everybody else. These are the people that were getting audited, which means people like you, even if you're not making $400,000. But remember, there are plenty of people making millions and millions of dollars a year, and they're not the ones being audited, even though they're the ones making all of this money. So Trump said something else that was very interesting, and we'll play that now. But apparently there was a time in this country where this country got their money off of tariffs instead of taxing the American citizen.
We're going to establish a very fair system where money is going to come into our coffers, and America is going to be very rich again, and it's going to happen very quickly. It's time for the United States to return to the system that made us richer and more powerful than ever before. You know, the United States in 1870 to 1913, all tariffs, and that was the richest period in the history of the United States, relatively speaking. In other words, relatively. And they set up the Great Tariff Commission of 1887, and this commission had one function: what to do with all the money that we took in. It was so enormous that they had no idea. It was a blue ribbon committee. It was set up 1887, and what to do with all of the money that we had. And again, Teddy Roosevelt was a beneficiary, because when McKinley was killed, he took over this vast sum of money, and he did all of those national parks and all of the other things. And I'm not knocking him, but he was given a vast amount of money, and that was all made through tariffs. We had no income tax. The income tax came in 1913. As I said in my speech last week, instead of taxing our citizens to enrich foreign nations, we should be tariffing and taxing foreign nations to enrich our citizens. Does that make sense, right? Under the American first economic model, as tariffs on other countries go up, taxes on American workers and businesses will come down, and massive numbers of jobs and factories will come home. The job creation will be enormous, in particular.
Now, with that said, I just want to first say that tariffs seem like a brand new cuss word because the word tariff be getting these other countries in check. I'm going to add that to my repertoire of cuss words because it seemed like it hit harder than anything that you could say that's another cuss word, right? Because Colombia, if you don't know, Trump was sending immigrants over there and they was like, don't be sending these immigrants over here. We're not going to take them. So Trump said, what? Call them on the phone and tell them I said tariffs, baby. And they heard the word tariff and they was like, what? Wait a minute. Not only will we take them, we will actually send some planes over to come and get them.
Tonight, a Colombian plane lands at MCAS Miramar to pick up deported migrants. Hello and thank you for joining us tonight at 11 o'clock. I'm Kimberly Hunt.
It's good to be with you. I am Wale Aliu. The U.S. and Colombia pulling away from the brink of a tariff war. This comes after President Donald Trump threatened tariffs and sanctions on Colombia for initially refusing to accept military flights carrying deportees over the weekend.
ABC 10 News reporter Laura Acevedo was breaking down the situation as the U.S. and Colombia make a deal on a deportation flight.
Well, Kimberly and Wale, that Colombian plane landed here at MCAS Miramar just before 8:30 tonight. And roughly 5 minutes before that touchdown, we saw Border Patrol vans escort 2 buses onto the base. After a weekend of back and forth, a Colombian Air Force plane landing at MCAS Miramar to pick up 110 deportees. The Colombian government announcing their plans to pick up their citizens on X, sharing these pictures of the crew before takeoff. A CBP spokesperson confirming the plane was expected to land at Miramar Monday evening and that those being deported were CBP detainees, all Colombian nationals. The spokesperson says all of them were apprehended by CBP agents and officers, primarily Border Patrol, adding most had crossed the border illegally. The diplomatic showdown started early Sunday morning when Colombia blocked 2 U.S. military flights carrying undocumented immigrants from landing in the country, as the flights were already in the air. Colombia's president, Gustavo Petro, saying on X Sunday he returned the planes because he says a migrant is not a criminal, adding they should be treated with dignity. Within hours, President Trump promising to impose 25% tariffs on Colombian imports and visa sanctions. By Sunday evening, the White House saying Colombia's president had agreed to Trump's terms.
There's a new sheriff in town, and the sheriff is fond of tariffs, shall we say.
Ron B. is an expert on international relations who says having a country send a plane to come pick up their own nationals is unheard of. He thinks this weekend's back and forth sets a precedent for other countries.
So this word tariff seems to work a whole lot and apparently got a whole lot of power behind it. And according to Trump, it has a whole lot of economical advantages to it. So his thing is, let's start taxing those outside of the country and making them pay us for whatever it is that they're paying for. And let's not tax the American citizens like we are now. I don't know if this is something he could do. Everybody else said there was a whole lot of stuff that he wasn't going to do, but he doing it. But the fact that he's even mentioning it and trying, at the end of the day, it will be very interesting to see what happens. But I'm not ever mad at a president that wants to come in and do away with taxes for the American people. You know, I think one of the biggest problems that we all have with the immigrants in this country is that the money that was taking care of them comes from our tax dollars. We go and we work hard every single day. And before you even get your money, they've already taken what part? The IRS. Uncle Sam done took his cut before he ever hands you your check. And so they take that money from taxpayers and then they turn around and they just give it away in all of these ways that whether we agree with it or not, they don't even care. Just like they were giving the World Health Organization $500 million a year to be a part of that, while other countries are paying, $39 million a year to be a part of it. But did they ever ask us, did we care about how they waste our money and our taxes? Because that's actually your money. They take it from us and then they tell us how they're going to spend it without giving us any opportunity to decide how we would like to see those dollars spent. And a big part of our outrage with the immigrants is that they're getting all the benefits that are not given to American citizens, and the money comes from the American citizens. So you taking our money. That's our money to take care of these people. And then you won't help us. That's a double slap in the face. So with that said, it would be very interesting. I don't know if this is something that Trump can do, but I'm definitely down for no taxes. I'm definitely down for that. And, tariff all the way. Go on, get that money from somewhere else. And to end it off with all of this stuff that Trump has been doing lately, he decided to post to his social media page a picture of him with the words, the abbreviation for it, fuck around and find out. He said he not playing with none of y'all. Y'all have a good day, and I will see you on the next live or the next video.